Yeah, because look, I can't do my homework practice, so. Yeah, like why doesn't everyone have Bible?
No, they actually pretty often.
She's gonna need that.
Everyone has their name tag. Put their ID in. Oh, is my thing?
Yeah, and then
Yes.
steal that. I'm really sorry. I'm really not going to.
Just don't look through any folders and you should be okay.
Yeah. Sorry, can you just pull up, hold on, what's your email? I'll just send this to
One of these.
Everyone make sure your iClicker has good batteries.
If you're a senator, come get an iClicker and your name tag.
What the heck, Julia?
Wait, how do I get to the SGA? Like, oh, you're right.
Excuse me. It's for somebody else.
I have to do, I have to go live from this movie. Like on Facebook. This is how we shoot my videos now, I guess. Anyway. Oh my gosh, no way! I've been looking everywhere for this. What? I found it! Oh, I put it away. Dude, I found my iPhone cord. I put it away with the iClicker last time. Oh, I'm so happy.
You guys got it.
Thank you.
You got it. Like, there's nothing on my computer. I don't know why. You never see. Excuse me. Jesus Christ. No, I don't know. Someone said it. Oh, yeah. She said go back. Hello. Nathan. Nathan. My teeth here. Oh no.
Monica. ID. Take that iClicker. Take
Monica. Come on, new shoes.
Sit right here, or do you want me to sit right here? It's up to you. Sit wherever you want. Give me anything. I already talked to him. I'm about to. Yeah.
What? Yeah, I know you did it. I did it? No. How did I do it? Okay. Let's get started. I'm gonna ask if you have your computer out and you are not doing something, whether taking notes or writing notes for an article, that you put it away because you're at an SGA meeting and you're not here to do your homework. People who have homework
I
out.
don't have a computer.
I know, I'm sorry. I don't have a computer. But if you are not doing something SGA related, please put it away because that's not what you're voted here to do.
Oh, I'm doing homework. Is that okay?
You say, hey,
No.
student ID, come take an iClicker.
Did you just say?
I'm kidding.
And I still need to make your name tag.
Got that.
I was like, are you kidding me, Nathan? Yes.
As a member of SGA, isn't everything I do SGA related?
This is very true.
No more questions.
Yeah.
Let's continue.
Yes.
Okay. We're going live. We're live. All right. Yep, okay. Call to order. So all the senators, please rise. Ready? We
reaffirm our responsibility to loyally represent the student body and
Actively improves the quality of campus life.
Yes. Okay, so for people who are new here, these are the rules for our Senate meetings. Raise your hand and wait to be acknowledged by the chair. That's me. If you agree with something that was said, please snap or give a thumbs up. No need to raise your hand and talk about why you agree. Be concise. You have 1 minute to talk, max in one turn. Stay relevant to the topic. I will cut you off if you go on a tangent, talk out of turn, or repeat something. Discussion time will be capped at 10 minutes, and per org and for general and open floor discussion. And these rules apply to everyone and not just SGA members. Unfinished business. We have none. Cool. New business, student orgs. The Internship Academy, are you here? Cool beans. Okay, you ready to present?
Yeah.
Awesome.
This is Senate Reclap.
This might not pull up. But oh, awesome, you shared it with everyone. These are my favorite type of people. Okay. Perfect. Just you'll have 5 minutes to present, and then you'll get 5 minutes for questions, and just like give me a head nod and you'll want me to change the slides.
Alright, cool.
Yeah. And you can begin.
Alright, so my name is Ricardo Morales, and I'm here to present about the Internship Academy. So our mission at the Internship Academy is to provide students with the resources necessary so that they can achieve the internship that they want. So just to give you some background about how we thought about this idea. So we were reading an article through the Washington Post, and we went through this article. So it said college graduates working in jobs related to their major. So that was 27%. So that means that 27% of students who graduated from a 4-year college, so that's just like us, only 27% were able to find a job related to their major. So by 2014, women earned 48% less and men 50% less than graduates working in a good fit job. So that means if you were going to make about $60,000 after you graduate, you would only make about $30,000. So that's a really big difference, right? So what we're trying to do at the Internship Academy is to provide students with a step-by-step process where they can learn about different resources and how to gain an internship. So we're going to have workshops, networking, mentors for them. We're going to take them on the career first, and with the ultimate goal is to help them get an internship. Some of the benefits that we will be providing them at the Internship Academy are shadow days with top companies. So this is a really good opportunity for them to actually meet one-on-one with the people in the company and ask them the questions that they want. We're going to have one-on-one networking, again, to get more personal with those people working there, with the ultimate goal of a successful internship search. And another thing is social events, right? So we have career services and we have another student orgs, but sometimes it's not that fun just filling out applications all the time and trying to find that internship. So it's good to have some social events so we can celebrate the successes along the way. But this will also serve as a way for students to keep connecting with each other in a fun way. So this is currently the executive board that we have. These are people who are interested in being part of it. Right now we haven't formed a complete structure since right now we're just working together in order to make this happen. But that will be the next step. And we currently have about 51 students who are interested in being part of this. So we just broke down a quick calendar of the events that we are planning to have. So we are planning to launch on spring 2018. Some of the events we will have are Welcome Week, that's how we will start. And throughout the weeks we will be advertising, raising awareness, and generating excitement. Some of the other events are first general body meeting, first workshop, and a social event, and then we'll go along the calendar. So this will really give us a good opportunity to just connect with students along the way. And again, the workshops will be for them to actually get some hands-on experience on resources that they can use and they can put into action. Next. So this is just a calendar of where we currently are. So we're today, this week 6, we're presenting to SGA. The next steps for this semester will be to continue planning. And again, our main goal for this semester is just to plan out what we're gonna do and get quality content that we will be presenting for the students next semester. This is just the budget that we drafted. So we broke it down into the 3 categories. So for example, programming, that's going to include the 3 workshops, 2 general body meetings, and 2 social events. And the other categories include the banner and printing. So that's what we have right now. So another thing that we looked at is on the other student organizations, right? So a lot of us are part of the executive boards of other student organizations, and while we really like them, one thing that we noticed is that a lot of them are focused in just specific majors. So if other students want to be part of it, it might not be the same because they're only going to have stuff related to the major that they're focused on. So, and another thing is that, well, they do have professional events. Sometimes it's just a couple of professional events that they have, but after that, they don't really follow through, or they don't really put into action what they learn. So after those professional events, students just forget about the things that they learned. But at the Internship Academy, that's going to be our main focus, and that's what we want to help students with. Right, so that's the end. We want to connect bright minds for a brighter future, and we believe we have an experienced team of people who have been in executive boards. We have students who are interested, and with the help of SGA, we will be ready to make this happen. Thank you.
And now we will have 5 minutes for questions. I didn't have a question.
First of all, I appreciate the presentation that you gave us, but on a fundamental level, I don't understand what differentiates this organization from career services.
Right, so that's another thing that we were looking at, right? And actually, one of the people that we connected with is Elise Yarnell. So she's actually part of the career services. And one thing that we talked with her about is that, we have so many resources here at IIT, like alumni, career first, and different workshops. But sometimes students don't attend them, or sometimes they just don't go to them, right? So one of the things we ask students is, when is the last time you talked to an alumni, right? A lot of students just don't do that, they don't reach out. And many times it's because, like I said before, students sometimes don't find it fun, or it's not so much fun going through applications and trying to get your career path and everything. So that's why we want to bring this connection with the student body and the Office of Campus Life. That's where we will be connecting career services with a more fun way of campus life, and actually make the process a much funner experience. And that's how we're trying to help students, right? It's not just about career. With social events, we're also going to help them have fun along the way and keep them engaged so that they can actually take action on those steps.
You talked about networking events and shadowing at companies. Have you reached out to any companies so far? Or?
Right, so actually in the slide, I don't know if you can go back, but the companies on those slides are some of the companies that we already partnered with. So some of us already had internships at those companies, or we know people who work there. So we reached out to them. I reached out to my mentor that I have at BMO Harris. So they're really willing to work with us and helping making that possible. And it could be just little things, just like hosting some tours with that company so that students can actually get that experience of going through that. And the whole point of this is that it will give us a path, an official path where we can reach out to other companies and make more connections for those students who are looking to connect with other companies.
Yeah, working on that.
So is this like a organization that's only going to be formed at IIT, or do you guys have backing in other schools across the campus, or other universities?
Right, no, so this pretty much, I guess it'll be the first organization that we have across campuses. This is just something we thought about here at IIT. And that's what we want to do, just keep it student-led so that we can provide students with leadership experience. But this is really just at IIT. We don't have there's no other organizations. This is just something we thought about that we could have here.
Thomas?
So when you said that you got 51 students interested, does this mean that they're on an email list, or what exactly did you do to get them interested?
Right, so some of the things that we did to reach out is just go across different student body meetings that organizations have, and also part of organizations that we are. And we had them sign this, and we also had them sign if they want to be part of the executive board, if they have an interest in that, to indicate that. So it was about 50% of students that are interested in being part of the executive board as well. So there's some really strong interest, and this was just about something that we did in 1 week. So for the future, we're planning to go actually to freshman classes, because we want to get students aware, early in their career, early in college, so that they can start applying to internships, right? Because I waited until my 4th year to get an internship, but after that, opportunities really started to open. So if we could get students to actually start applying early, that would be a really good thing.
Yes, Monica.
You
You had a great events layout, but you briefly mentioned your workshops. Could you explain the difference between your workshops and workshops of the career services?
Right. So some of the things that we have, so for example, we started with the first general body meeting. That's going to, what we have planned right there is to just make students aware of this opportunity that we're going to be taking them through. The first workshop that we're going to have is giving them the resources that they can use in order to start finding internships and start finding companies that they will be connecting to. And again, career services provide some of those workshops, but some things that we're going to be providing is, so myself and another friend, and there's also part of this initiative, we're part of the program that they provide us with a lot of resources, right? A lot of things that some students don't know. Like, for example, online resources where they can check their cover letter or other type of search engines where they can find internships. So those are little things that people just don't know about. That's what we're going to be helping them with and sharing that experience with them.
Awesome. All right, if there are no more questions, thank you very much for presenting. Next we have Epsilon Pi Epsilon. Yes, same rules apply. You'll have 5 minutes to present and just give me a head nod whenever I'm going to change the slide.
Awesome. So we are Upsilon Pi Epsilon at IIT. We're going to be an honor society for computer scientists and anybody in the computer science department. Our goals generally are to connect members with professors and researchers who already exist at IIT, because there's a lot of research opportunities that go untapped, especially in the field of computer science. There's a lot of things that are going on, but mostly you see master's students in those roles versus undergraduates. We also want to provide companies with a direct recruiting line to the best students in the CS department, which is not currently something that the department is able to do. So if we have an honor society, that would enable those students to get better ins with those companies and better opportunities. We also want to send our members to regional or national computer science related conferences. There's a lot of these. Some of them are related to different topics in computer science. Some are related to like women in STEM or things like that. We also wanted to be able to give feedback to the CS department itself about how it's running and its curriculums and what it can do better to help its students in the department. We also wanted to encourage learning of new skills, so have workshops and things like that for kind of the skills that you don't necessarily learn going into higher level classes, but that you're expected to either learn on your own or already know. We wanted to advise aspiring computer scientists and help students sort of find a specialization, because computer science is one of those sort of broad fields that it's hard to differentiate yourself from everybody else.
So kind of on the logistics side of things, we currently have 16 charter members. So these are members that were distinguished among the computer science students. Professor Matt Bauer, the one who answers emails at all hours of the night, he kind of distinguished those, sent out an email, and then we got 16 responses saying, hey, we're interested in this. So that's kind of where we're at. That includes our executive board, which currently has 4 members on it: president, vice president, treasurer, and secretary. And kind of sort of SAF funding, we would like to start off with requesting for around $2,000 a semester for 3 to 5 events. 500 to 1,000 of that will be for campus events, like our workshops and our meet and greets and stuff like that. And then the 1,000 to 1,500 would be for conferences cost. And that's flexible either way as well. It's just a general guideline for now.
As far as events that we're planning for this semester or next semester once we get started, we wanted to have a membership meeting first off to have the charter members kind of all in one place and see what exactly they want to see as far as events and workshops and things of that sort, what they think would be helpful for them and for the rest of the CS community. We also wanted to have an introductory event of some sort to the rest of the campus community this semester. We're thinking of some sort of seminar in a hot topic in computer science and reaching out to people in companies, alumni from IIT who might be able to come speak and talk about something that they've been working on. We also wanted to have a meet and greet either late this semester or early next semester to kind of start recruiting for our round of recruiting that would be next semester. This would be to meet eligible students who are younger. We're looking at the sophomore to junior age range, or also graduate students are welcome to join this organization. We would also advertise to CS faculty so that they can kind of start meeting these students and see if they might fit in a research opportunity that they have available. And our last thing is we wanted to have a feedback meeting with the CS department. That would probably be next semester, and we wanted to do this once a year at the very least. This would either be UP members, whoever wants to come, or representatives from the executive board meeting with the administration, Matt Bauer, and a few other of the higher-ups in the CS department, discussing things we mentioned earlier, like the CS curriculum and how we can better serve CS students.
So kind of the financial support part of UP Upsilon Pi Epsilon is a national organization. It's a national computer science and information sciences thing. So there's a chapter installation fee of $1,200. We've already talked to the computer science department, and they are more than willing to cover that fee for us. After that, there is a one-time membership initiation fee. So every member that joins has to pay we have to pay a $60 fee for them. The CS department has kind of indicated that they are willing to also help with that as well, about half of the cost, and then the rest of the cost would be passed on to the actual initiate members. And then the rest of our programming budget that we went through before would be SAF funded.
As far as recruitment, as I mentioned before, we'd like to have a meet and greet either once or twice a year to make sure that we get to know all of the new people who are either sophomores or juniors in the CS department. The department would also send out an email, that is Matt Bauer would probably send out an email with our assistants to eligible students to apply. The eligibility is you have a 3.0 or higher, or 33%, or you're in the top 33% of all CS students. And then there would be a committee that would select the students whose applications would be considered by the membership of the organization. So this committee would consist of the executive board, the faculty advisor, who is Matt Bauer, and 2 to 3 other faculty members in computer science. And then those applications that are kind of pushed through the process would be reviewed by active members and then voted on to determine if they're allowed to be in the membership.
Okay, perfect. You're actually out of time. I don't know if you had.
There was one more slide.
Okay, yeah. I'll just leave it up and everyone can read it. All right, we're gonna open for 5 minutes of questions. So, Oregon.
As a computer science student, I have watched multiple computer science organizations crash and fail consistently every semester. How do you guys plan on changing that?
So I've been involved with and watched those computer science organizations start and fail multiple times, and it's always very sad when this happens, and I think this is actually one of the pieces that's critical to continuing these organizations, because usually you get, especially in computer science organizations, unfortunately, you get people who start the organization, they're very passionate about it, and then they stay in their position, and they don't look for a successor. They don't look for people who are younger, maybe not as experienced, but who could really learn and help to grow the organization and move it forward by moving into a position. And that's exactly what we're trying to avoid. So we had our first executive board meeting, with myself as the president, Tiffany as treasurer. We also have a vice president and secretary. And we kind of talked about that we should all, as soon as the organization begins, as soon as we have our first membership meeting, we all need to be looking for our successors and people who we think would be a positive force in the organization in general. And that we should be encouraging people not only to step up for executive board positions, but also to get active and get involved with programming events and reaching out to people they know in the city to come and speak at the seminars and things like that, and make sure that people know that there's opportunity to get involved and to be a leader in the organization.
Yes.
So it said that you guys get to pick from the applications computer science students who are applicable to it.
Yeah.
And but as a student organization, you're supposed to be open to all students participating, maybe even some who are not computer science students that don't meet the GPA requirement. Are your events going to be open to all students attending, but keep it restricted, or how would that work?
So the events that we have, aside from our membership business meetings, will all be open to all students on campus if they would like to attend. They're just sort of geared toward computer scientists. The membership itself in the organization is kind of we do have other honor societies on campus, and they have similar restrictions on who's allowed to join, and similar processes on how members are allowed to join, where they vote on an application and determine whether or not that person would be a good fit for the organization. But in terms of the events themselves that we're going to be holding on campus, they're all going to be open to anybody at IIT.
Any more questions? Okay, thank you for your presentation. And percussion club. Drum roll. I'm hilarious. No, okay.
Oh, I get it. Percussion.
Yeah, ha, yeah. Yep. Yeah, and then just give me a head nod when you want me to change this. Okay. Nice. Okay.
Well, so we're Percussion Club. We're originally from Vandercook. We're a student organization over there, and we're hoping to join forces with IIT. So, and our goal is to basically branch out to the community over here. So our e-board consists of, right now, I'm the president. My name is Josh Breen. Our vice president, Alex Rosendahl. Our treasurer, Stephen Vondero. Our secretary is Danny DeLetto, and our faculty advisor is the professor of percussion studies, Jim Yak. Our mission is we strive to provide the opportunity for all to share the percussion arts through the community, which, for those of you that it's big words and I get like that sometimes, it basically means that we want to kind of share our art for everybody around us and to express ourselves through music. So, and we want to do this through the awareness of different cultures and art aspects, and through the international, and through the amount of international students, and the difference that we can provide for them and the difference that they can provide for us.
So we have the opportunity to have a pretty small world in percussion, where somebody like our faculty advisor has a lot of connections to people who are professionals in many different art forms of percussion. And what that grants us is a unique opportunity to have them come to our world and share what they do. And usually they do it in a way that's really accessible for everybody. Most percussion is taught by rote, so it's great for everybody to come learn and learn a new art form. So that's really what we're trying to do by opening this up. We also want to do, or we have a lot of outreach programs already involving local high school programs. They come in to work with us to have clinics with our professors and our students, and we go out and we teach them. And we want to make a lot of those performance opportunities a lot more public for everybody to come join and see the huge world of percussion and what a cool art form it is. Some of the events include our Day of Percussion. Vandercook actually hosts a Day of Percussion where we just have a huge host of events, performances and clinics and education opportunities for all things percussion, and it's a great event and a lot of fun, and we want to share that with you guys. Community performances, once again, just reaching out to the campus, trying to share our art form. Drum circles where we can involve students, everybody can sit down and I don't know, have a 30-minute jam session with the percussion club. It'll be a lot of fun. Yeah, this is just some pictures from some of our Day of Percussions and Day of Percussions at other universities. We're also trying to connect ourselves with other music programs at other universities, because they also have their days of percussion, and we can coordinate and possibly go to their events. They can come to our events. We can kind of branch out the Vandercook name as well as the IIT Percussion Club name. Just some more pictures of some events that we've had. So PASIC, this is the international organization that we're also trying to affiliate ourselves with through the Percussion Club. It's the Percussive Art Society, and this is basically the percussion world, and they have a national convention every year. This year it's going to be in Indianapolis in November, and it's just takes place at the Indiana Convention Center, and a huge event where, once again, percussion is shared all across cultures and different music styles, and different educators come in. It's a wonderful opportunity, and we want to be able to go to that as an organization, have everybody involved go see the great things that percussion has to offer.
Oh, awesome. Okay, and now we'll open up for 5 minutes of questions. Nina and then Julia.
So, this is pretty cool. I do like this idea. There's like nothing on campus like this. But my question to you would be like, this is great that you're doing it for percussionists, but are you guys willing to open it up to other people in music? Like, percussion, the like name of it is really cool, but could you make it like something more musical? That if you guys want to focus on percussion for this year, that's totally cool. But that in the future, when your org grows, that it's able to expand to other natures of music. Like,
So, yeah, our main focus is on the percussion aspect, but we want anybody and everybody to come join and to come share the art, and because it's an art that everybody kind of already has innately, they just don't realize it yet. Everybody does this from time to time. Everybody beats on stuff, everybody taps. Everybody does percussion already, they just don't know it. And so we just kind of want to enhance that, and then this is open to anybody and everybody, and we want to expand this onto IIT because with our small knit school of Vandercook, we don't get as much of the international amount of percussion as well as the non-music percussionist who just never really studied music but wants to do percussion, and this is a way for them to be a part of this, and it's open to anybody and everybody.
Awesome, thank you. Julia and Ethan, Mohammed. Okay, Julia, go ahead.
Do you guys have a budget, or is it funded by Vandercook?
So our budget right now is kind of, there's nothing set in stone. Clinics and master classes come and go depending on when the clinician itself, which is a professional percussionist who travels around the country and maybe even the world, comes by our area and we can snag hold of them. So there's nobody set in stone yet. PASIC is an international convention which is hosted in November each year, and varies depending on the place it's held on travel expenses and all that. I know pass-wise it's about $75 per person, but the Day of Percussion we host and Vandercook pays for that. Most of our other funds we already pay for them through Vandercook, and the drums we already own through Vandercook, so there's no expenses to buy equipment. It would just be when clinics come around, and that all depends on how much the clinician asks for and how far he has to travel to get here.
Awesome, thank you. Aaron and Ethan and Mohammed.
How do you plan on specifically recruiting students outside of Spain?
Well, so this is like one of my first times really like branching out into the IIT world. I've kind of like been over in the bubble, and I think we just want to have our presence on campus and kind of draw people in that way, like build ourselves up, because so far like it has been a little bubble, and now it's time for us to like step out and have, I don't know, even small community events. Like the drum circle thing is going to be awesome because it could take place anywhere, somewhere outside on campus, and just set up a bunch of drums, and anybody can just come sit in for a little while and just test it out. And it doesn't mean you have to join percussion club, but it means the option's there, and we're just trying to get our presence out there. And we'll be brainstorming more ideas to like get our name to everybody, because like you said, we want everybody to be involved.
So why exactly do you want to be a student organization? I guess, and like what exact resources do you want to take advantage of if you were approved?
So we want to be able to spread our, just like Stephen is saying and everything, we want to be able to spread ourselves onto the campus here. And we want to be able to delve into, and what the faculty advisor said, which was very, I want to almost say enlightened of him almost, kind of, was that he said there's a heavy international presence here. And for all we know, there is some gamelan master, which is a type of percussion that is native to Asia and native to Southeast Asia. And for all we know, there's some gamelan master who studied gamelan for about 6 years over here, who we have no idea about, and could teach us so much, and we could teach him so much. And the presence of just that, there's some great tombow players probably, or something on campus, and we just don't know about it yet. And we want to be able to spread our, and we're like the bubble right now of we have our normal stuff about what we normally do, and we want to be able to enhance ourselves and enhance our growth with what the students of IIT can provide, and we want to enhance their growth by what we can provide for them out of our music school and what we can share between the two.
Mohammed. Vincent, okay, Ashton, and then Erica.
So like when you have clinicians and stuff, how would funding work? Would it be like 50-50 Vandercook IIT, or if there's like, it's like 80% Vandercook students, would it like the funding, like how would you, since it's like an organization in 2 colleges, how would that be?
Well, do you know how funding with Vandercook is going to work? Like, we still haven't like worked that out either, because like this is pretty young there, like within this semester. So we don't really know what our funding is there yet. So once again, another like variable that we have to deal with. So not sure yet.
Oh yeah, Erica.
Okay, just clarify for me, because I'm new. So what does the student involvement at IIT look like in the percussion club? Because like, you know how at school we have like 2 percussion ensembles? It's not going to be anything of that sort, right? Where there's like weekly rehearsals with anything? Is this going to be like a more lenient type club? We have an activity, come show up type of thing? Or how does like actually getting hands-on with instruments and stuff look like?
That's something that we're still working out something for. I had just been talking with our faculty advisor about like finding maybe a session or 2 a month where we have like a small like student run class or jam session or something where we can like meet and discuss something. Once again, still like brainstorming some more ideas on that, but trying to get something consistent going for sure.
Awesome. We're actually way over time, guys. Sorry you've been here so long. Thank you so much for coming and presenting. That was awesome. Okay. So I'm gonna have to ask the 3 organizations who presented if you could please leave. Thank you so much all for coming to present. You do not have to stay. You can leave. You're free to go for the night. I will email you sometime tomorrow with the results of our election or vote tonight. Thank you all for coming. Yeah, also if you are a senator, if you are a voting member, or anyone in this room, if you are in or involved in any of those clubs, you also need to leave while we discuss. No one? Okay. Awesome. Door. Oh, you're in one?
Oh yeah, honor set.
Okay. Can you get the door on your way out?
Well, so he can stay for internship.
We could do
He just said he's in the internship academy.
No.
Oh, you're in the honor side. Okay, yeah, you can stay to discuss the other 2.
Stay, just remember to leave. Don't make me get pissed.
I can't get out this week.
Are you in the internship academy? Oh, okay. Okay, I need a motion to discuss.
Move to discuss for 5 minutes.
Second.
The internship academy?
Internship academy.
All right.
Second.
Ethan.
I am of the personal opinion that I find this organization to be an unnecessary layer of redundancy between the student body and career services. I invite anyone who, with a dissenting opinion, to speak up now.
Okay, I'll speak up now. I get the services they offer are very similar to that of career services, but I think they're taking that service and they're expanding upon it, and they're not making it so technical. I think they're taking students who are in internship positions and giving their experience, and I think that's saying that career services, when you have people who weren't actually working in the industry or having internships in 10 plus years, and now you have students who were just recently there giving their advice, making it more involved, and there's similarities, but there are very stark differences that I think we should all consider. That's all. So there's my decision.
Goes over Thomas Ashton.
So I think that I agree even though it's definitely redundant. And the only real difference I saw with the Oregon Career Services is that there's more of a social presence with it. And I think that if either him or the rest of their exec board goes to Career Services to say, hey, we thought of this idea and we were wondering what you guys can help with it, I think they'll be like totally on board to help them actually do something about it. They don't necessarily need to make an org out of it.
Sorry, Thomas.
I waive my comment.
That was okay. Someone over here, someone else I called on. Oh, sorry, Ashton, go ahead. Then sorry.
I think it's good because I think it's sometimes easier for students to approach other students and they already have those relationships. And I think sometimes like walking into career services, especially as like a freshman or sophomore, can be a little scary. So I think this is kind of like a better way to ease into that. And then once you have more experience, then you probably will be able to get more out of career services.
Okay, same.
Yeah, and I think that like if they're working with like career services, I think that it's a good like joint system. Like even if they are an org, I think that it gives them some like some rights, I guess, like a hawk link and stuff like that to get out there. But I think that they have a different like mission statement than career services does.
Just so I think we're all on the same page, they did talk to career services and they got their approval. I felt like there was some implication. So it's not so they already are working with career services. So if we were to approve them, we already know that they have career services fully supporting them, and they're most likely going to continue some relationship. So I think, and if career services thought it was redundant, I think career services would have said it.
Yeah.
But so there we go.
Monica, Aaron.
I understand the social aspect of this club, but at the same time, they kept saying that they're going to ease the paperwork of getting in internships, which I highly disagree with. Internships are very self-motivated and self-doing, that you need to go out there and do it yourself. So if you can't approach career services, how would you go and approach an internship?
I would just like to remind those people that may think this kind of like tags out other people's, like they could just work with career services. RHA is a thing. It's an organization that is highly related to a department of the school, and it has opportunities that RGL doesn't have because they are a student org. So that could potentially relate to this a little bit.
Very true.
I'm not thrilled how they were asked a question and then pretty much failed to answer it. I don't remember the exact wording, but I believe someone asked, like, what do you intend to do to get more kids to know about you, to be interested in you, and to stay with you? And essentially the answer boiled down to, we're going to be social about it, which a lot of clubs are social, and yet I have yet to hear the majority of the clubs on this campus. And second off, I would also like to remind the General Assembly that every dollar that goes to a club is a dollar that could potentially go to someone else's scholarship.
Wait, I don't think SAF money goes to scholarship.
Nope, it doesn't. Do I
No,
understand?
it just go to
Okay.
another.
Ignore
It just
me.
goes.
I'm stupid.
It just goes
If
to
it went to scholarships,
like
people
next
would know.
semester's SAF.
like where does SAF money come from? Where
You
this
pay-
is questions for another time.
It's like taxes. It's like taxes. How does
Yeah,
the
you
government
pay it in the
act?
beginning of the
Okay,
semester.
I don't have. Hey.
It's in front of your laptop.
My laptop. Thank you.
I don't know it.
Off topic. Okay, who was next? We have like another minute. I think you.
I think at least, so to be honest, our school is not really great about providing internship connections for our students. Other schools, if you go there, they have those things well established, where they probably wouldn't need a club like this. But IIT requires a lot of our students to graduate to have an internship to graduate, a lot of international students to have internships to graduate, a lot of graduate students to have internships to graduate, and just my experience of trying to find an internship is just really difficult at this school, and it's just a lot easier to meet someone else who's had an internship and be like, hey, these are the steps you need to go through to get this internship, because every internship is different, and I think a lot of people get stuck in unpaid internships, which is not okay. Internships are usually jobs, and you should be paid for internships as well if you need course credit. So I think having a club that can explain that to you thoroughly and have someone else to go through it with you, especially if you're a freshman and you don't know what that entails, is a lot more easier than going into career services where they might be beefing your resume up for a job, because jobs are different from internships entirely.
Okay, I need a motion to extend.
Move to extend by 2.5 minutes.
Second. Ooh, there's some people. Sammy, Mohammed.
Okay, mine is a response to what Monica said. I think that it allows like people to, like, I think it's really good for students to be able to have like that like in between where they don't have to go directly to career services, because sometimes it's intimidating, especially if you're like a freshman or a sophomore, and I think it would be really good for like incoming students if we had like an org who kind of like guided them through that and who were really, really passionate about it. So.
I think the most important aspect that they actually bring to the table is mentorship. So basically, they already have somebody who had the internship with basically BMO Harris Bank, for example, and he can walk freshmen through the steps that they would need to take, the people that they would need to talk to, the HR department executive or whatever that they would need to talk to in order to get this internship. So it's a lot more focused than career services, because career services really just prepares you for any job. These guys are really focused on that job that you really want.
I think it makes career services a lot more accessible, and I think it's going to end up helping more people go to career services. So, he's right, it is very focused on what they want to do, and he already has events planned and like shadow days. So unless they can go to career services and have those accessible to all students, then I think it has merit, like as a board.
And then Ashley.
I know that we also just started like career services advisory board, shout out to Colson. And so I'm concerned how this organization can either clash with them or make them obsolete. I didn't ask this question because I didn't realize this until we started having this discussion. So I don't know how that maybe might affect what career services advisory board wants to do. So
Thanks.
I think ultimately regarding what's best for the students, the more opportunities they have, the more connections to companies, and like that accessibility, I think ultimately, regardless of like how it'll make career services feel, it's about the students. I think it's right.
Okay. Move to vote.
Second. I'm really happy how we're all divided. I'm serious. This has been a really good debate.
Yeah,
this is a great Senate start. I'm so proud. So this is like the first divide we've ever had.
I'm really happy about
okay, there's more icons if your battery is not alive, aka dead. So
Mine's not alive, but it's not this. Just like
all of your eye flickers are dead.
It worked at the beginning.
if this is dead, put it over here, dead,
If it's working, vote status should come up green.
this is dead.
At exec board, should I propose for more batteries?
Yes. Probably. Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Don't want to say anybody else.
What type of batteries should they take? AAA or AA?
It's 3 AAA. So AAAs are like what, $20 at CVS?
Yeah. We have more batteries in the office.
No, I want CVS. No office. I like CVS.
Oh, okay.
Wait, are we voting?
Mine's powered off right now. Check to make sure. Check to make sure it doesn't turn off. That's what mine's doing.
Oh, as soon as you submit a vote.
No. Okay. Does everyone have their eye clicker?
Yeah.
Voting for the internship academy is open now.
Say, wait, what are the voting?
Oh, A is yes, B is no, C, D, E, abstain. Again, A is yes, B is no, C, D, E, abstain.
Can we write that on the board? Because I have a bad memory.
Oh my god.
They're in descending
Oh
alphabetical
my god, we have so
order.
many votes, guys. We almost have, how many are we supposed to have, Aaron?
I have no idea. I have been just
Reverse alphabetical order. Yes, no, abstain.
My curriculum didn't teach
Oh my gosh,
me
dude, we have over 20 responses. Last week we had 9 or something like that.
Did you get
22
Yeah, 26.
That's what it's supposed
Things I put 27 out of 26.
Okay, wait.
No,
So let me find out really quick.
We have 22.
I'm listening. I'm listening to you. I know the law. Am I nobody?
But well, Trixie's not here.
Just like my mom.
Adina doesn't vote.
Do you run the calendar on the website? Do you know who does? Alyssa, you run the calendar on the website?
Kind of.
It like took me to a very wrong location.
23 votes.
Because I saw location and I totally forgot that Stewart Building's initials were SP. So I clicked on it and it took me downtown.
You went downtown?
Yeah, that's why I was late. Well, so part of that is like my own stupidity and like forgetting about Stewart Building.
Alyssa, ask Alyssa
But then again, like I'm a freshman.
We have 22 votes.
Okay, so that's because
SP contractors or something like
What?
Or SP some business down like near the river.
That's dedication.
I don't know.
Okay, when you go, come on.
I did once I was down
Okay.
there.
Can you write that down somewhere?
Yeah,
Boy,
right, yeah.
oh, it's all good.
Did everybody vote? If you didn't, vote again. And if you did, vote again.
Can I?
Keep looking, guys. Keep looking. Pick one more.
Never mind, it's red. Don't vote.
Okay.
Alright, move to discuss Upsilon Pi Epsilon for 5 minutes.
Okay.
Who wants to start? Go by.
There's tons of honor societies, and I'm happy to see that now computer science has one because it is such a big community on campus. And I do believe those two when they said that they will make sure to continue.
Oh yeah, bye.
Sorry. And I believe those two when they said they will make sure to continue on this legacy and actually recruit and actually make sure that whoever's next in line to be president, whatever, that it's going to continue on.
Aaron?
A lot? Oh, okay, not a lot. But one of their points about what they wanted to do as like holding discussions with the CS department, kind of what we do as senators. So I only question that portion of their organization. The other parts I agree are beneficial, but if somebody could clarify that, if that's not.
I'm just gonna like give a direct response. Okay, like the CS department, a lot of times like they aren't always as like forward thinking as a lot of the students in the CS department want to be. A lot of times we want like the newest technology that's out there, and a lot of times that's not what you get in classes. So like having a group that directly discusses with the department and is there like as a sole focus towards computer scientists would be really beneficial just for the community overall. And this is, as a 4th-year computer science student, I've experienced this.
You're like, I need to see this happen. Nina.
Going off that, I just like to let everybody know that it's like they don't get funding for these kinds of like students like stuff that should be like funded through their departments. So when they're so like reasoning or their existence would be for only advising, they would not be able to get funding for personal departmental use space. Just say. What? Like they won't be able to get funding for their personal, they are most likely not able to get funding for personal membership fees, so they have to consider that. They will most likely not be able to get departmental, like if something in the department needed to be fixed and they came to SAF, that's not like our.
They
that's
weren't
not-
saying that.
I'm just saying, it's like things to consider. Like a lot of their expenditures, it's on them. I don't know if they're gonna be able to do that.
I have a response to that. So like their membership fee, they said that they would be paying for it. So it's not like they're not asking SAF money for that. And then
Can you not talk while Morgan is talking?
also, additionally, like a lot of their trips or like a lot of the people that they're going to have to come in to talk, the student, like, computer science department already does that, so they'd probably just partner with other departments to do that, so it's probably not going to be as expensive as they were showing. Like, and they're not trying to fix anything in the computer science department, they're just trying to work with department heads to further basically grow some of the classes at IIT.
This is like a nationally recognized honor society?
Yes. We have many other of them for other majors
Yeah.
on our campus.
That's cool. That's good.
Move to vote.
Second. Voting is open.
What are the voting codes again?
A for yes, B for no, C, D, E abstains.
What I said. Nothing like I don't like that you know how I voted, but it's okay.
I need 3 more. Everyone click them again.
Okay, sorry.
Wait,
Whisper, it's
2
fine.
more because he can't vote.
Mine might have died. It did die, but I think I voted.
Can you? Everyone
We're
click
like
them again.
out of eye clickers.
Click
so
them again?
if you can't, yeah,
Yeah.
you go tell Alyssa your vote.
Oh, no, it works. What a trip, right?
Oh wait, okay, I'm good.
No one does that. Oh, yeah, it does. Technology, right? Can't even get it back.
Okay.
Alright, move to discuss percussion club for 5 minutes.
Second. Wait, hold on, I'm gonna start. I know people are like, oh, like, what if they included more music? But, like, to them, percussion is, like, their major. So it's kind of like if like, they just made, like, a computer science National Honor Society, be like, well, would you expand it to, like, let mechanical engineers join? They're like, well, that's not really, like, our major. So, like, that's just something to keep in mind. I know they had a lot of other issues, but, like, that's just one thing that I don't want to talk about. Okay, Aaron, Ashton. Erica, Eric. Okay, here you go.
It concerns me that their point of coming to us is that they want to spread to IIT students, and yet they had no specific plan for how they were going to recruit IIT students. Like, if that's the one reason you're going to give to like every question we ask too, you need to have a recruitment plan for IIT students then. That's my point.
Yeah, okay, Ashton. Ethan, Martin.
First of all, the fact that they didn't come here with any IIT students like already, they didn't like one person would come to the meeting, or they didn't demonstrate like one specific person. And also with the clinician thing, like I did band all through high school. We would have clinicians come in, and they're very expensive, and that's at the high school level. So depending on how many they have, that could be thousands of potential dollars, and I think that's a really important part of their budget to accurately present to us.
That's an unknown.
I've always been really advocating for like the past year how I really, really want Vandercook to get more involvement and take advantage of SAF. And I think this would be a great opportunity, but I gotta say that I think they were just really unprepared. And that really, I don't know, because I think they have a really good idea, I think they have a really good message, and I think they have it all worked out, but they just didn't do the basics that we need to approve them. I don't think they did a budget, and they didn't really think about involvement, and when it comes to being an organization, you really want to take advantage of budget or HawkLink. Those are kind of the two main things, and instead they didn't really know what they wanted, and they didn't have any currently interested members. So I'm conflicted, because I want it so bad. Secrets.
Sorry, no, I'm taking minutes. PSA.
I was making sure she was writing it down for the emails.
So I'm confused. Does anyone have any clarification? Do they have an established club at Vandercook?
Yeah.
Yes.
They do.
It's like the percussion club at Vandercook.
Okay. Did they say that?
Yeah.
Okay.
They said that, but they also, they said that as of this semester, so very, very recently. This
Okay.
semester.
So they have a brand new club at Vandercook, and no real course of action to spread to IIT. So they're essentially trying to create an IIT chapter of the percussion club at Vandercook. Right.
Erica, you can go. You're gonna die.
Let me just clarify right now. All the things they mentioned, like day of percussion, all the events that they mentioned has been stuff that's been happening for years. Percussion ensemble has been happening for years. The only thing that's new is this literal club to involve IIT So everything that they brought to the table with like events and stuff that they have has been happening for a while. So the only new aspect would be the fact that we're getting IIT students involved. And basically, so I personally think that like the big gap in this is everything like IIT related when it comes to this kind of stuff. Like Vandercook is completely left in the dark. I didn't know anything about budgets or any of this stuff that like clubs have to present until being in the Senate. So I'll totally like it would make sense if we. I mean, you could vote for whatever you want, but I know I'm probably gonna vote no. But like, instead of just an email with like saying, "Hey, you could do this, this, and that," to have IIT students actually like help explain how this process works with budgeting, with all this other stuff. Because like, I don't even know what I would say to them. I really don't know much about this, and I'm in Senate. So if there could just be like some more involvement with like anyone else who's good at like anyone from like the financial board and. You know, just to explain, like for any future clubs at Vandercook as well, like what they really need to prepare and how to prepare that and stuff. So, just to have more involvement on our end to explain to other Vandercook students, like what the heck we need to do to get a club started.
Eric, Nina, do you know?
Alright, this seems like a very niche club, and having small clubs is not a good thing?
Okay, if the club is organized enough where they can keep going on, that's cool. Like they have, people that they're gonna take over once they graduate. They do a lot of events, even though they're a small club. There's a lot of like cultural clubs like that where they're specific to their culture, but they keep going on because they're like really passionate about what they do. There's a lot of clubs where they come here to present and like they die within that same year. And I like never see them again. And that happens a lot. With this one, I think it's pretty cool. We have nothing like it on campus. So it just really depends on how passionate these leaders are and how they want to continue with it. And the question that I was asking them earlier is the only thing that I have. It's like they are only percussion. And I was hoping they could think like maybe all of music. Because like eventually if the club gets big enough, somebody with a guitar is gonna come in and be like, yo, can I kind of jam with you guys? And I just see that happening in the future.
So the most important thing for any club is that it's perpetual.
Yeah, so that there's some sort of organization, there's some sort of like, oh, we have a successor, we have a thing done.
Okay.
My thing, I'm just gonna do a direct point. My thing for that is that there will always be percussion students going into Vandercook, so I really don't see them dying out, so I don't think we have to worry about that. Also, I think that, like Erica said, they don't really have any prior experience, so like I really can't judge them for not having a sound budget or anything because Vandercook has no actual organizations on campus, so they don't even have people above them to tell them they need to do that. I know I mentioned it in the email I sent them, but I mean, they don't really know what that is. Also, I think that since they do have to meet with Ryan, they do have to create a constitution to become a student organization. So I think that they have the passion to go in and actually put in the effort to do that. And then they'll be like, you have to make a budget. And they'll be like, okay, we can do that. Like, if they're not, I don't see them not putting in the effort to do all the things that we need them to do. Julia, Adina. Well, I need a motion to extend first, though.
Move to extend by 3 minutes.
Second. I'm not. She's
Okay.
So Senate has the power to tell a club to come back again and to present. So if you guys wanted to, one of you guys could actually sit down with these guys and tell them how to properly present to us first, and second, what they need to have prepared before presenting to us. So if you understand how budget works, you can sit down with them and actually, figure that out, and we can vote. Not we, because I can't vote, but you guys can vote to them to come back next time and see if they have a better understanding of how orgs work on campus. Also, it's still unclear if they really need SAF funding because of the clinician thing. I think at most, the best thing that could benefit them is Hawklink, but even then, they didn't seem like they knew what Hawklink was.
We don't have access to Hawklink.
Yeah, so they can't tell us that's how they're gonna expand if they don't even know what it is. So.
I can explain a couple of things. So not have public access. No, they do not have budget access. No, they do not have any kind of access. So when they came up to here, this was a pretty decent presentation for what they had as Vander Cook. I'm saying that because I work with them all the time and it's a struggle. You were saying something about not knowing Van Hopping. Well, that's because they've never used it, and I think this is probably going to be the job that bridges like IT students with okay.
So many hands.
Wait, I just have one question. So the only thing that it seemed like they were using was being able to like fund, like use SAF funding for workshops, like people coming over teaching like percussion, but everything else, couldn't they just like be under Vandercook but come over to the IIT, like this part of the campus, and then do the drum circle without being like a club, or were they going to be like kicked out?
No, they wouldn't be kicked out. I think that their main point is because they want IIT student involvement in their organization. They want to actually like have the collaboration and not just be in their Vandercook bubble, as they mentioned. Also, I think they need SAF funding maybe to go to that conference that they talked about in November. That they obviously don't pay for themselves. Okay. Ash, I need another motion to extend, definitely.
To extend for 2 minutes.
Okay, that's our final motion to extend, by the way. Okay, goals are Ashton.
Okay, so we're going in circles, and let's bring this all together. So 1, Vandercook students do not have access to Hoglink. That can easily be fixed. Vandercook students don't have access to do budgets and do all that fun stuff, and then go to SAF proposals and do all that crazy shit. So yes, that can all be fixed. So if you guys are kind of like iffy about the stuff that they weren't prepared for, all that stuff can be fixed because it's not that difficult to explain to them what all those things mean. But if you guys are okay with everything else about the presentation, then you can move on to say yes or whatever you hell you want to say. It doesn't matter. So I just want to make sure you guys understand that, because don't say no because they don't have certain things in the presentation just because they're Vandercook students and they don't know it.
Okay.
All right?
Morgan has something to say, and sorry she gets priority over you guys.
Saying that it can be easily fixed putting them on Hoglink is not true, because student government has been trying to do that for like 2 years.
Well, no,
2 years, guys. It's not
I know,
easy.
but I'm saying just like overall that like this is something that can be fixed, and this shouldn't be something to limit Senate to like pass them.
I just don't think that we should say that that's easy, because it's not.
I'm sorry, I really want to get to all of you guys. We're totally at our cap time for discussing an organization.
Second.
Erica, unless something you're going to say is so profound that it's coming out of your eyeballs.
I mean, this has nothing to do with voting. I guess this could wait till after, but it is a question that I'd like to ask.
Okay. Then we're going to
Can I ask
open
a
floor.
question? Like SAF funding, does that come out of our tuition? Like where does that money
Yes.
come from?
It's a fee.
So
fee
like,
that
you pay
you pay
for Vandercook students to do things?
No, we pay IIT, and just 2 years ago we started getting access to our own funding. It's like in our tuition, not yours.
So
we have our own like.
I was right. It is back in filter.
Okay, vote.
No. You weren't right.
Voting is open now. Nathan, do you have to collect too, or did it work?
What?
Did it work?
Mine just dies, but then it comes back. Alright.
Don't worry. I'm very unbiased. No purpose.
I can't tell whose is better. To go cheap.
Sophomore year. I got 4 and a half.
No.
I'm okay.
Ooh, I like it. Yeah, I was a close fool. You guys are wrong. I'm just kidding. Not I'm having trouble with my perspective this one. How many votes do we have?
We're done.
You will.
And okay, so now I will read you all the results. Aaron, are you ready?
Can you give me 3 seconds?
Yeah.
Where are we starting?
Internship Academy.
Go.
Internship Academy passes with 18 yeses, 4 noes, and 1 abstain.
Yay!
Upsilon Pi Epsilon passes with 21 yeses, 1 no, and 0 abstains.
Yay!
Woo! And, you ready? Percussion Club passes with 14 yeses, 8 noes, and 1 abstain.
Yay!
So in the email,
Sorry, how many abstains?
one abstain for percussion club. In the email to percussion club, obviously I will explain to them that there was a lot of debate over it, but like the stuff that they can work on with Ryan, absolutely.
You can use the direct minutes.
Yes.
Last week we voted no on something.
Also, I just realized I could always just rewatch the live feed if I really wanted to know, but it's okay. Yeah. Okay, moving on. New business. Oh, my land. Okay. Are Sarah Lopez and Shanice Brown here for judicial board? Shanice. Shanice. I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
Or is that you too? Okay. Okay, if you just want to come up here and just like give a brief synopsis of who or why you want to join J Board, that'd be cool. Yeah, you can vote for it.
So, hello everyone. My name is Sarah Lopez. I am a fourth-year communication major. I think I would be a good fit for the judicial board because I am straightforward, have good writing skills, I'm responsible, I'm a critical thinker. I've also been involved in political campaigns. I've been involved with State Representative Teresa Ma and with the couple of years back, the mayor's election with Jesus Chuy Garcia as well. I'm unbiased because I'm not on any on-campus organizations, and I don't have any time constrictions.
Awesome, thank you.
Hi guys, I'm Shanice Brown. I'm a fourth-year engineering management student. I'm actually interested in J-Board because I'm trying to get involved on campus. I'm a transfer student from another institution, and this is my third semester here, and it's just been kind of difficult to get involved in stuff. So I thought this would be a good thing for me to try. Also, from the university I transferred from, I was like on the other side of this, kind of like these organizations that just got voted in. I mean, I've had to sit in front of you guys and like pitch to try to get like a new, organization started on campus, and I think it'd be interesting to be on the other side. And that's pretty much it.
Cool, awesome, thank you. Personally, again, like with Salali bringing them here, they obviously had to go through a process to get up here, so I just want everyone to take that into consideration that they are definitely quality candidates. Alright, we'll take a couple of questions.
I just have a logistical question. Are we voting in, are we choosing one, voting both, voting?
It's a slate.
Slate. They both
Explain what that means.
So a slate would mean that we either pass both of them or we pass neither of them.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Yes.
Okay.
Eric.
Let's move to discuss.
Why is a slate a thing? Shouldn't we be able to choose?
No questions.
Okay, we'll open up for 2 minutes for questions for them directly. Does anyone have any questions? Yeah, okay, Morgan.
What's your understanding of what judicial board does?
You look at appeals, and I think you look at organizations as well. And I was speaking with Stikali because we're in the same iPro class, and she also said that you're looking into trying some Senate things going on.
Yeah, that's pretty much my understanding as well. You look at appeals, and if maybe Senate doesn't pass something, well, that's what an appeal is. It goes to the judicial board, and then they can have say whether something goes down. I think you guys did something like this with Keaton or something, with the senator or something like that last semester.
Mm-hmm. With our staff senator. Okay, awesome. If you guys could just step outside and we're going to discuss. And you're free to go. You don't have to come back. And I will email you tomorrow with the results for voting.
Move to discuss for 2 minutes.
Go ahead.
Just like what Lucas said, is to sit down with them, and then got to see that they're really good candidates, and from what they talked about today, I can see that they're going to do a really good job, so I have no concerns.
I'm a little concerned about their understanding of judicial board. I think Sarah Lopez has similar understanding. I don't think she's had too much research. She just wanted, as she said, she just wanted to get involved on campus. The other thing is they're both fourth-year students, so it's like probably going to serve 1 year, and then there's no continuation.
Same.
I mean, I think even if they have a lot to learn, I feel like they did do some research and they're interested, and I think that they would be willing to learn. So, I mean, I think judicial board is kind of a hard thing to understand if you're not involved in government at all. So I think just like participating and getting willing to be up here and present in front of us, I think is a big step.
Yeah. Also, my first semester running for Senate, I didn't even know what I signed up for when my name was on the ballot my first semester freshman year. So, I mean, not knowing what they obviously have a little bit of background as to what they're getting into, but they don't have to know what's the law.
I think maybe we were just a little bit nervous because we did discuss like the Constitution, and then obviously we have to deal with this campaign thing that we do. I also mentioned how we might have a new project that we might want to back, so there's going to be more work. And it's something that we are going to be kind of like doing. So I don't know if maybe for that. And I think even a lot of senators here don't really understand what Cleveland does. So
That's sad. That's a Senate retreat. That's what it's for.
Alright, move to vote.
Okay. Voting's open. A is for yes, to slate both of them in. B is no, to slate neither of them in. C, D, E, abstain.
Goals are.
21 is Sitlali not voting? Okay.
We should have 22 then.
No, we should 21 if Sitlali votes.
There's 23 altogether. Minus it, well, like 22.
22 because Narcos votes with me.
Oh,
yep. Okay, they have passed with 19 yeses, 2 noes, and 1 abstain.
Yay!
Awesome, full day board. Sitlali, come back.
Sitlali! I think that worked. I think she's coming back.
Cool beans. Okay, officer reports. Presidential report.
Me. Hi guys. I'm Morgan Peters. If you guys haven't met me yet, I wasn't at Senate Retreat. I was at a diversity summit where we basically discussed how we would include more minority groups in our discussions and how do we bring them onto campus and get them more involved. So that was really awesome and it was a great opportunity. We're going to actually go backwards because it's in the wrong order. Volunteering for Family Weekend. I'm going to have Alyssa send out this link to you guys, but the school's looking for volunteers to work Family Weekend, which is in like 2 weekends. So if you guys want to participate and talk about SGA and go to do different parts of Family Weekend, that would be super awesome to see you all participate in that. Parking Citation Appeals Committee. We also need volunteers for this. So if you have any interest in sitting on the parking citation appeals, woo, that sounds like so much fun.
I started at 8 a.m. on Saturday morning.
Feel free to email me or Alyssa about that. Parade to the Polls. This basically this non-for-profit reached out to me and they were interested in basically bringing on a voter registration and interest to IIT, where they basically host like forums about voting for the United States government and kind of like who's getting elected, so that students can be more aware of kind of what's going on. I'm in contact with them right now, and I hope that they can participate on campus so that we can talk more forwardly about politics. Yeah.
Can they participate for us?
Huh?
Can they help us get votes?
What?
Yeah.
I'm talking about like
Yeah, I know you
real
are.
world politics. Okay. And then lastly, I'm going to have we're going to do like a round table of talking about safe spaces on campus. This was brought up to me with the provost when I was having a discussion with her about safe spaces. If you guys aren't aware of what safe spaces are, safe spaces is basically this concept of certain people cannot talk on campus. So it's basically like a lot of the Berkeley things that have been happening. So like bringing on white supremacists to talk about like racism and stuff like that. And whether or not we are for or against safe spaces. Personally, I think that hate speech is not free speech. But at the same time, I wanted to bring this forward to the student body because I think it's important for us to discuss this and talk about what our opinion is of it as a group, because while that is my opinion of hate speech, that is not everyone's opinion of hate speech. So I just want to open it up to everyone to discuss.
Is this like going to be a town hall, you said?
No, this is a discussion among the Senate to discuss.
Right here.
Just so that going forward, when I'm talking with the president and the provost about stuff like this, that it's not only my opinion and that it's the student body's opinion, as you guys are all senators. Anyone have any thoughts? Yes? And then,
I think it is morally wrong to punish people for what they think. I think that this country was founded on the idea of free expression, regardless of how awful that expression might be, and that's all I have to say about that.
Okay, so I'll follow up then with explaining more about what safe spaces are. We're not punishing people for having those opinions. We're basically just not allowing them to present on campus. So it's not like a, we like hate you, we dislike you. It's just more of like we don't think that the student body or that our school should promote this opinion, so we don't want it on our campus, kind of deal. Yes. You first. I saw your hand first, and then we'll go boop, boop, and then back to you.
I completely understand what a safe space is, and I understand the benefits of it, but at the same time, I feel like students need to be able to defend themselves and speak up, because there's no safe spaces in the real world. And U Chicago wrote a beautiful essay about why safe spaces aren't actually a benefit to college campuses, and I think that should be looked at also when you're deciding whether our campus should be a safe space.
I think like any speech that makes people feel threatened, because I think there's stuff that can be taken like as offensive, like that goes against my beliefs, but there is speech that is legitimately threatening to students, and I think as SGA it's our responsibility to take steps to get that, because no one should feel threatened, especially on our campus.
Yes.
So would that mean that people who would come to speak on campus, would there be like a review process that they would have to go through then?
Yes. This isn't like a done deal. This is just something that I want to be able to have an opinion on behalf of the student body when we talk about certain things like this, because right now IIT does not have this saying like, oh, we are a safe space, or oh, or we are not a safe space. So I think that this is something that the student government should be actively talking about and discussing. But yes, they would go through a review process. So like certain people would not be allowed to present, I forget his name, it's like Milo Yiannopoulos. Yeah, Milo Yiannopoulos. Like someone like that would not be able to present on campus because it wouldn't basically hold up to the standards that IIT sets. Yeah. Okay. Yes?
I do not think there's anything particularly productive or like constructive about like allowing racists to speak on campus. So I think that's pretty fair.
My question is, where do we draw the line? If we're going to ban someone like Milo Yiannopoulos from campus, what's going to stop us from banning someone like, if we're going to ban a Nazi, what's to stop us from banning a conservative? What's to stop us from banning who knows what? Who's to say we can't ban Black Lives Matter? Where do we draw the line?
At hate speech.
What is hate speech? Who decides what hate speech is? Are we to decide what hate speech is? Is our government to decide what hate speech is? What is hate speech?
Hate speech is defined as targeting a specific group. So basically, it's people who are racist against a certain group. So like for Nazis, for instance, they hate Jewish people, so they're like, fuck all Jewish people. We wouldn't want that on campus because it's targeting a specific group. You. Then you. Her first.
Okay, just to go back to like the, having a safe space versus having to deal with reality. I mean, I only have like my background as growing up here. I know there's a lot of international students, but like personally, I think there's nothing wrong with having this school as a safe space. It will not stop people from knowing how cruel the world is. If anything, they should be able to get an education in a place where they don't have to worry about someone targeting them, coming to where they're trying to learn. They're paying a lot to try and get an education, just something as simple as taking the train down to downtown. They're in the real world. They have to face reality. Like people see how ugly the world is. Like I think it's okay for a school to be a place where they could just be here and not have to worry about something like that.
And I also think that there's important difference between like banning someone who has been known for being a white supremacist or a sexist or whatever from coming onto our campus. Like I think some people are confusing this potentially with us just saying that like people that think that way on campus are to be punished somehow, but I think it's more so keeping that away from campus as it is completely abolishing what may already exist, I guess.
We're not saying that conservatives cannot speak on campus. Yes.
Morgan, I would take like 2 more people think that way.
Okay, 2 more. Gozer, we can talk later.
Yeah.
Okay. Just to clarify then, this could become a policy that would only prevent formal presenters who were to discuss topics that would directly offend certain groups. That's the sole purpose of this if it were to become a policy.
Yes.
Okay, so it's not targeting students per se, or not that that behavior is tolerable. It's certainly not, but there are policies in the handbook for that. This is not what this is, right?
Yes. Students that say things like that can actually be brought up with the judicial board on campus. That's not our judicial board, that's the university's judicial board. I've had friends who have been targeted for being female on this campus who have brought forward these people to the judicial board on campus, and they have gotten in trouble for doing these things. So our campus already does this in certain ways. This is just not allowing presenters that are like white supremacists or other groups like that talk.
Just to clarify, there's a difference between being offended and feeling threatened on campus.
Yes. Last comment, and then we'll finish.
So, I don't know if you know this about me, but personally, I hate Nazis. They're spiteful, they're annoying, and there are way too many of them on the internet. I do not like Nazis. But, because I do not like, I would be almost habitually aggressive towards someone who is a Nazi. Would this make anything I say hate speech? It's the lines and where we draw them are arbitrary and subject to change at whim. It's here. Let me say it like this: a man called Alexander Solzhenitsyn once said that the line between good and evil doesn't run between states or down lines in any country. It runs through every person. That means that the fight for free speech begins and ends with every single person. If we are to say that hate speech is not allowed on campuses, if we are to say that certain kinds of speech aren't allowed here, what's to stop us from saying they're not allowed other places? What's to stop us from saying that they're not allowed in our country at all? This is a fight that has to begin at the smallest level, and it has to end at the smallest level too, or else we might lose our rights. Maybe tomorrow I won't be able to talk about how much I hate communism as much as I hate Nazism. It's ridiculous. I'm totally against this.
this is super awesome, this discussion, and maybe we will continue it next Senate meeting. If all of you want to stay and chat with me after the meeting, we can do that, but we also need to move on with our other groups.
Awesome, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Goes on.
Hi. Okay. So for everyone that didn't meet me yet, I'm Golzer. Sorry that I wasn't at Senate Retreat either. I was also with Morgan at that same summit thing. It was a lot of fun. If you want to know more about it, hit me up. So first off, all you guys are going to get an email when I go sit down again, and that's for the ITP thing I talked about the last Senate meeting. Just a quick update of what that is. I'm asking at least each and every one of you to sign up for one class to go to and basically say what student government is. I'll give you a little speech and then you'll do it and it'll be great. But it's your responsibility to ask the professor when you can come in. On there will say the days that the class is up, like open and everything, and what times they're at. If you have questions about that, hit me up. The next one is KSAB, which is the Career Services Advisory Board, which what Aaron mentioned before I created last year as a senator. It's still happening, so if you guys are interested in academic affairs and you decide to join my committee, I will ask one of you to go on this board, so this is just something to think about. If you have questions about that, again, you can come ask me. And the last one, graduating with honors proposal thing. If you remember last time, I showed you guys that proposal, and the biggest issue with that was how was it going to benefit the university and the faculty, because it was mostly just a positive thing for us. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go sit down with the person who brought this proposal last year. It was a faculty member, and I want to ask him why, like, what brought all this up, because I wasn't VP last year, obviously. So I don't know what happened. I don't know why this whole thing came about and why this triggered it. So once I learn that, then I'll learn why the faculty wants it, and then I can implement that into the new proposal. If you want to join academic affairs, please do. This is something that you'll work with me on. It's a lot of fun. So again, welcome. I'm so excited to work with you all, and yay, that's it.
Fantastic. Fantastic. All right. Let's go. There's the Instagram. If you haven't followed it yet, just follow it. We got like 2 posts. We got 14 followers. We can make it 20 tonight. Come on. Take out your phone. It's okay. Everybody's allowed. All right, we'll do it later. Okay. Too cool to use Instagram. All right. We're doing a little poll on Facebook about IIT today and its effectiveness. Don't fill that poll out just yet. I'm making a new one because they're going to try to get me to pay, and I'm not paying anything. So there's going to be a poll shared on SGA's Facebook later tonight. Fill that out if you haven't yet, and say how much you like IIT today or don't. What's next? Good feedback from their tree. Good for you. And then I'm going to be sending out a Google form sometime soon. Everybody's going to fill that out, and I'm not going to have to pressure anybody to fill it out. Everyone's going to fill it out and give me a nice bio and a picture I can use for the site. Please, because I want to get that done. Last year, it took us like 4 months to get it done. This year, I'd like it to take a quarter of that, minus 3 weeks. All right. This was from the Tech News article. If you haven't read it, this is beautiful. I want to, like, when I die, please read this at my funeral. That's how I want to be remembered. I think that's absolutely brilliant. So, I want utter confusion. I want everybody on the toes. Also, read Tech News. There's really great articles. This is just one of the greatest excerpts in the world. Yeah. I know. Yeah.
Well, are you done?
I'm done. Yeah, I'm done.
Is the second picture of the Illinois Tech RHA Instagram a window that says Student Government Mass?
It says Student Government Association, but the association isn't. Wait, what?
said he's gonna DM you.
Yeah, I'm going to message him and rampage you up.
You better
Wait.
start doing with just one letter.
Okay.
I have a question, Nathan.
Yeah.
Email him.
You should just make it ASSOC.
No, like it's a picture of the window being painted.
Oh, it's a picture of the
It's-
word.
and it's-
Oh,
I lied. Okay.
I thought.
Please. Thanks. Trixie is sick, so she couldn't be here tonight, but yeah, she was really sorry that she couldn't make it. Okay, finance board. Got nothing. Awesome. Judicial board chair's report. No updates. 11 exams. Awesome. You're so cute. Thanks. Okay.
Wait.
What?
Wait, that was. So Lolly, will you re-explain what judicial board is to the Senate? Because they were all really confused a few minutes ago.
So we do uphold the bylaws, make sure that everything's running smoothly during the meeting. We take care of finance board appeals. So like if an org is not satisfied with the finance board, they can make an appeal. I will look at it and then I get to decide if we get an appeal or not. And then we also do appeals against the Senate. So like if an exec member is going to get impeached or taken out of position, they have to come and go through us. And we have to like vote on it. Has happened before. Additionally, if any new like senator needs to be created, it's like the athletics to represent like the athletic students that happened last semester that have to go through us and they have to present with us. And additionally, we have a few other projects that we might possibly be taking up as student board. So that's kind of like the summary of what we do. We're not as involved as like Senate is, so I think that's why a lot of people aren't too clear. And then also, I think before previous chief justice, people who were in the position didn't do much of an effort into trying to solve this. So I think a lot of people don't know, but that's basically what we are.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay. Wait. I did that.
Okay, so I wasn't at the retreat either, so I'm events chair, where events committee is also something else you can join if the other committees don't seem to be a good fit. Some upcoming events we have are the Peace Safety Town Hall. That should be October 17th. Have any of you guys been to a town hall?
Yeah.
I mean, not old people. Any of you guys?
I've been running over.
Okay, so town halls are essentially something we set up with staff members from different parts of campus so that students can come in and ask questions and voice concerns about their department. So we've done financial aid already, and we've also done OTS. And so we have 2 more to come. Public safety, that usually is a pretty big one from what I remember. A lot of people have beef with public safety for some reason. And then we're going to do this SGA one, so the entire exec board, and maybe one of you guys will be up there and people can hash out their beef with you guys. And then we have the President Provost Forum, October 27th. For some reason, students do not go to this. It's really weird. And as senators, you guys should be showing up to all these events, because if you don't show up, people are not going to know you exist. Especially if it's an SGA event and there's no one from SGA besides me and like Ethan. It's gonna be weird. So please come to these events. Your vice presidents of your committees will be holding you to that, hopefully. Right, guys?
Yes.
Okay. And we still need people to come help me plan these things out. They're not set in stone. I still need people to do some small tasks for me. So yeah, if you're interested in learning how to put on events on campus, please join my committee. Last one, we have 80s nights coming, so if you like to plan parties, we're gonna have 80s night for the entire campus, and it's gonna be really fun. You guys are all obliged to come, or you'll be impeached. And yeah, if you want to help me throw this party for campus, this is a way for you guys to meet with other people on campus as a senator, as part of SGA, but in a more lighthearted sense, and just, I don't know, put SGA's name out there. Yeah, any questions? Comments, concerns? Huh?
They can email you.
Yeah, you can email me, I guess. I'm trying to think. Oh yeah, but President Provost Forum, that's where you get to ask President and the Provost any questions, voice your concerns, complain, whatever you want to do. You know what everyone does on the ITSC page about how shit the school is. That's the place to do it, but nobody comes, and I really need you guys to come and do this. Go back to your colleges and ask them stuff, or communicate with them and bring that back to President Provost Forum, because this is a really cool place to take advantage of. And when students don't come, they don't take it seriously, and they give you shitty answers for questions. But if a lot of us come, I think they'll take it more seriously. And yeah, that's it.
So we still don't have any senators' reports because you just got elected, but hopefully by next Senate, I can talk about some projects that you guys are working on. Cool. SGA Spotlight. George Morin from Finance Board.
Yeah.
Apparently he's been...
He's so great. He's just amazing. He's a movie, and he's just like on his stuff. And I'm just so glad. It's like he's got his questions ready when he needed to ask me, and then he's just ready to like advise other people during a hearing. I just kind of threw him into the reporter position, and he did it. And it was like great.
Awesome.
Show him the screen.
This is like getting a gold star, Senators. Strive to be up here.
Is it George or Jorge?
Well,
What an enigma.
I struggle with names, sorry. Open floor. Ethan.
Okay, hi everybody. So Lexi and I over here are both writers from Tech News. That is the on-campus student newspaper, which is also entirely free and available in every academic building. So if you haven't been reading it, you should try and pick up a copy. It comes out every Tuesday.
I write for it as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so first of all, Lexi here, she writes covering Senate hearings, which is a very long and arduous process. Like, it is very difficult to condense these 2 hours into an article. Like, it usually ends up being like, how many words?
a lot.
Like, over 1,000 words at the time. And then I also, like, what I do since last academic year is I like working with individual senators and committees who actually document your project progress and write articles going on there. So in the future, and also like I'm sending the invitation now, like there's my email address. You can start a conversation with me there. If you're working on a project or you have an idea for a project and you want to get some free publicity for it, like it's also a great way to just source help from the student body, for example, if you need like extra volunteers, extra hands to help you with a project. Or you just want to like essentially tell people, I did this thing for you, appreciate it. I can help you write an article with it. Like you can ask the current exec board members, because I've worked with all of them in writing articles. I just tell them, send me just like an unstructured bullet point list of things you did and I will turn it into beauty. Now, are there any senators or exec board members now that have a project brewing or in the works that they would like to work with me now? Because we can already start this process now, and if that is the case, just feel free to approach me after this meeting.
Awesome. Okay, that is everything.
Move to adjourn.
No? Oh, I didn't see you. Are these open floor discussion topics?
Just 2 quick notes from me.
Okay.
First, there's a food advisory board meeting next week on Thursday at 3:15 in the Printer Club. You need to find what that is.
What's the date?
Yeah, so food advisory board, we meet with Sodexo staff, get stuff done, improve campus food. Second thing, we have a technology advisory board meeting next week on Wednesday. I'm looking for a new person to chair that for me because I can't do it this semester. So just email me at darnold3@it.edu.
Awesome. Open floor discussion topics or like notes? Questions?
Something to say.
Okay.
Should I say it? Are you playing for animation?
I mean, okay, quick question first.
Is Emmy still running for Senate?
No. Yeah, no.
Yeah, no?
No.
Can you be more clear?
Okay.
There's an old Voltaire quote that most of us probably know. goes something along the lines of, I don't care much for what you have to say, but I will defend to the death your right to say it. Don't make me go to my death, Morgan. That is all.
Okay. Slightly derogatory notice for the term, but I guess you're allowed to say it.
I felt like a threat. If I'm allowed to like make one last comment towards it, I just think that like the big debate question here is that if we as students are paying our money to go to the school, we should have the right to choose who we let speak here and who we don't. If we feel as though there could be some kind of
Is it about
comments that could kindle some sort of hatred or anything like that.
if it's towards what Morgan talked about? Okay.
Just to end this on a more positive note, like, for those not aware, I was a senator last year, and like now essentially I'm relegating myself to a more observing position and also writing articles. And I just want to say that like this was probably one of the best Senate hearings I've seen in terms of the discussion. So I am walking away from this meeting with full faith in this entire Senate to be able to go into this next academic year and do great things. And I think like from my position as senator last year, I'm qualified to be able to say that.
Yes, I absolutely agree. Cool.
By the way, our hearings, 226, don't come on the 7th, there's no one there. October.
Finance board.
Yay.
Finance board hearings, guys.
Someone adjourn this meeting.
What's to adjourn?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, make sure you put up your ID. Look at your eye clickers back. You don't get an ID without an eye clicker. Narcissist, don't you dare. Oh, yeah.
Do we give our